Last week, I went on my first big group ride. There were about 30 of us, and I had a great time, so I thought I'd share with you some footage from the ride, and also some of my thoughts on group rides in general. First off, there were so many different bikes. Around 3 or 4 of them were 125s, including mine, but most were bigger bikes. I got to sit on a Honda Rebel, which is the bike that I'm looking to buy next, and have a chat with the owner about how they found the bike. It was reassuring to hear that they liked it before I went ahead and purchased mine. Listening to an owner's first-hand experience after having the bike for a year gives you so much more of an insight than just watching reviews would. Reviewers only have the bike for a day or so they don't really know what it's like to have the bike long term. If you're after a bike that's quite popular, it's likely you'll find someone with one at a group ride and you can have a chat to him about it. There was also someone there with the same bike as me, so it was cool talking to them about how they liked it and how their experiences have been. It was interesting speaking to people who did that and went straight for a bigger bike, since most of the people I know took the progressive route, including myself. I also met someone who went for DAS, but actually ended up buying a 125 and practicing on it for a few months, since they struggled to learn on a geared bike on the day. Everyone's beginner journey is different, so speaking to people at varying experience levels was a really nice experience. I've ridden in groups before, but this was my first time riding in a group this big, so I had to learn a little bit about the do's and don'ts of riding in a group. Riding in a formation like this was quite difficult. I tried my best to keep a staggered formation so that if the bike in front needs to swerve to the left or the right, they can do so without hitting you. If you're riding side by side, it leaves very little room for error. Since everyone is riding so close together, you really do have to remember to do your shoulder checks before moving. While you don't expect anyone to creep up next to you, it's likely to happen when everyone is so close to begin with. I made a video recently about group rides and if they're suitable for a beginner, and having gone on my first big group ride now, I do still agree with what I said in the video, that a group ride is a fantastic way to learn as long as you're with the right group. This group were really happy, riding slowly and just having fun, so it was a very welcoming environment for a beginner. This is exactly the kind of group you want to find yourself with on your first group ride or even in future group rides. I think if you're feeling less confident, it's a good idea to let the group ride leader know and probably stay close to the front just so you're less likely to get separated from the group. Bearing that in mind, I'd say that this ride would be suitable for a beginner, but maybe not one who's fresh off the back of their CBT. If you have a few months riding under your belt and you're generally stable on the bike, you should be able to handle riding in a formation like this. When I first passed my CBT, I was very unstable, so it wouldn't have been safe to ride this close to other riders. Was a 125 enough for this ride, or would it have been better on a bigger bike? Well, I rode for about 4 hours total that day, and my back was aching pretty badly by the end of it. This wasn't so much to do with the engine size necessarily, but perhaps a different style of bike would have been more comfortable for long rides. In terms of engine size alone, a 125 was plenty for this ride. Most of the roads in central London have a 20 mph limit, so the extra power of a bigger bike wouldn't have made much of a difference here. I was riding next to a litre bike for a lot of this ride and we were both going the limit. It actually made me reconsider upgrading my bike. If I was only riding in central London, I probably wouldn't own more than a 125 because it's perfect for that. It's cheap, it's light, it's fuel efficient, it's everything that you need it to be for city riding. But I would like to do some longer journeys in the future and probably some motorway rides, so a bigger bike is more suited for that. If you want to go on a group ride and you're on a 125, just get in touch with the organiser and ask if that's okay. Most of the time it will be. There were a few other groups out for rides that day, and when we passed each other, you got moments like this. This definitely made my ride. It was great to experience that kind of camaraderie firsthand. Anyway, I'll stop talking and I'll let you guys enjoy some more of this footage. As always, safe riding and I'll see you guys in the next one.